Sorry about the delay. Hello everyone, welcome to the Saturday's live stream before New Year. In fact, we're gonna get these two live streams that I usually do on Saturday and Sunday before the New Year. So in this puzzle, and well, okay, as you may have already noticed, it's not even New Year, but I'm already changing things up. I finally took your eyes into account, and well, after a little bit of a fair amount of feedback, people telling me that the light background hurt their eyes, I finally decided to change it. I've been playing around with a little, playing Blitz with this new layout, and yeah, it is more comfortable, and yeah, it is safer for the eyes. So hopefully you guys don't feel as attached as I was to the light background. It's gonna take me some time to adjust, as I said, but okay. Those things aside, hopefully you're having a good day. In this puzzle, we have a major weakness. That's the queen. That's the first thing that you should jump into your mind. Especially the fact that the queen is lined up in the same diagonal as the king. Good news for us, we have a dark square bishop and a queen of our own that could potentially threaten bishop g5. So bishop g5 is the first thing that you should try to make work here. And the first thing that I tried myself is knight d5, but this doesn't work because rook takes e5. Anything else, like knight takes or e takes, we have bishop g5 and we're winning. But rook takes, and this happens to not only take material for free, but also prevent bishop g5, which is actually the priority. And this wouldn't be winning. Knight takes e4 is just running into queen takes e4, so bishop g5 obviously is not winning anymore now that the queen is away. Which takes us to knight h5, which was my third candidate move, therefore the best. Sorry, not therefore the best, but okay, in this case, the best. Because, yeah, the queen cannot go to any of these squares. They're attacked in one way or another, included these. So they have to go back, and now we get bishop g5. Because, of course, f4 runs into bishop takes f4, and we want a queen. Okay, let's jump right into that. Hello, Roger. Hopefully you're having a good day. So I was thinking of playing 3+2 because I'm a little bit slow, and I haven't been playing so much chess. It's the first time I see the chat like this in a while. Okay, so d4, we're gonna play knight f6. The idea is to play a Philidor with e5, inviting white to take, exchange queens. And you're gonna say, well, David, that's very boring. And it is very boring. It is very boring, but it's equalizing. And in the higher levels of chess, you have to equalize. It's important. I mean, you don't have to. You can play dangerous things purposefully for the sake of maybe getting more of a game and more of a decisive result. But here there's e takes e4 and knight e5, by the way, but I'm going to choose to play with c6. But yeah, I want to equalize. That's why I'm inviting my opponent to enter the queenless middle game, or end game you can call it. So we have the main lines with h3. I'm going to take on d4 and go knight c5. Queen takes d4 was also a very serious moves, but I'm going to go knight c5. Bishop f4 is usually the way people play, and now I have a choice. I think. Do I have a choice? Actually, I don't think I have a choice. I have to go bishop e6. This is where you get to see the power of a move like a5. If I didn't have my pawn on a5, b4 would be a big problem because I wouldn't want to move my knight. So the knight on c5 is stable, and as a result of that, bishop e6 is stable as well. I'm gonna take with the pawn. The main line continues e5, to which knight d5 is a blunder. There are two moves after e5, that's knight e8 and knight d7. Knight d7 is more common, and I'm gonna go for knight d7. It's a little bit more natural as well. E takes d6, rook takes f4. This is all theory. In the last live stream, I failed to fill up my water bottle, so I was dehydrating. That's why I lost so many games, exactly because of that. Not because I play horrible chess, but because I needed water. Okay, I'm joking. Let's double in the F file, threatening rook takes f2, rook e2. I thought this allowed queen f6, which is now hitting both the knight and the f2 pawn. And against something like this, knight e4 came to my mind. Knight e4. Is it working? Queen takes. Yeah, maybe it's not working. Oh yeah, it is. Queen takes, knight takes. Queen takes e6, I have king h8. Queen takes f6, knight takes e2 check. Zwischenzug, intermediate move. Okay, but rook takes e6 is there. And that's bad news. Okay, I think we're losing actually. Queen takes f... Well, queen takes e3 can't be losing. Queen takes e3 can't be losing, but it's not ideal. Ah, there's a funny... There's an amazing lie. Rook takes e6, knight e2, rook takes e2 check, rook takes e4, takes. Yeah, but that's the only... Oh no, I did calculate this. King h8. And now the idea is that I have knight e2. So even if the rook moves, knight e2. And I'm taking. It's all about this motive. Wow. Okay, well, at least we forced some sort of weird move. Now, rook takes c4. Rook takes c4 is a counter move because if queen takes, g takes, and we're winning. Oh, this is too interesting to not play. But it's just a cheapo, unfortunately. Just a cheapo. Yeah, pretty unfortunate. Okay, let's go queen h4. No, that does a g3 and I have nothing. Yeah. Okay, let's just take this. I think this is interesting. But once again, I completely forgot we were playing, or I'm not in the blitzy mode because look at my time. I just completely neglected my time as always. It's difficult to get into that mode. It's difficult. Okay, check. Let's exchange. Let's go knight e3. Attacking these two pawns. And we're winning. I think we're winning. But it's unfortunately not relevant. Okay, try to get this guy out. Ah, 96. They blundered 96. Let's see if we can save this one. Wow. Good game, Rain. Let's see if this works. There we go. So I need to play quicker. I just need to play quicker. Is this comfortable? Maybe this is... It's better to not do it. I'll do this whenever I need to show it line. Okay, so the opening was a success. We were in opening book up to this point, and then b3 is not the main line, queen e2 is the main line, right? And after this, there's f3, there's also rook a1. Oh, sorry. Is there rook a1? I mean, f3 is what I know, and then after knight b6... Sorry, rook a to f6 first. And then knight b6. And yeah, there's enough counterplay for black. It does look like black is worse because the structure is damaged. But black has enough. However, after b3, all of a sudden black equalizes a little bit more directly. Although knight b6 would have been better according to the engine. But okay, this can't be that bad. Rook e2. Knight b6 once again was the way. Yeah, I think knight b6 with the idea of knight d5 always. Oh, wait a second. I didn't even check if we were live. I didn't even check if... Oh, this is bad news. Even check if we were live. Okay. So we are live. Good news. But I think this is not working here. Yeah, this is not working. Or stone offer. Thanks, Roger. But I think Leeches is somehow not detecting it. There we go. But it's... What do I do now? Oh yeah, this. There we go. There we go. Where were we? Yeah, so 94 doesn't work. Yeah, I mean, this is why I'm not a stronger player than what I am. Like, that's why I'm stuck in FM. Or no, I'm not stuck. At least I wouldn't want to believe. But this is why I'm not stronger. This is what my point. 94 is such a cheapo, and a common problem within players is to make moves that you think your opponent is going to trip with. So if you play with this against an engine, it's just game over. The engine just refutes it, as my opponent kind of did. Not really, but almost did. And then you'd lose the game. So instead of that, just play a natural good move and play with simple chess. 95, you're taking this. Where does the bishop go? It's trapped. Knight 64 is very difficult to stop, if not impossible. But yeah, instead of this, I went for craziness. Eventually I equalized, and eventually I won a pawn. And we were better, and we were... Ah, we're not even winning. What? This is so instructive. We're up a pawn, but we're actually losing. It's +4. So why is that? I think it's mainly the king, but the engine really likes b4. What's the idea? I guess we're just losing. That's the idea. Well, that's far from obvious. Okay, well... At least we are on leeches now. So let's exercise our e4 repertoire. They're gonna go for c6, and actually I'm gonna change things a little bit and go for this structure. So it could become some sort of King's Indian attack. But I'm gonna approach this as a Philidor. As a Philidor in which white went c3. Which is not that bad. I don't think it's bad at all, actually. So we're gonna go c3, h3, rook e1, queen c2. Typical Philidor moves. So I want to occupy some space with a4. Useful move. Usually black responds in that same fashion. And I'm going to play queen c2 rather than rook e1. I think sometimes rook d1 is worth considering. Okay, knight f8, very natural. I'm going to go rook e1. Knight f1 and bishop f1 are both candidate moves. I think I'm going to go bishop f1. So knight f1 is very tempting. The other way you can compare the other structure or the other opening you compare this position with is the Ruy Lopez and the Italian. So in the Italian, knight f1 would be more natural, and I think that's what I'm gonna ultimately choose over bishop f1. So knight g3, and it's funny actually, we have kind of a symmetrical minor pieces, if that makes sense. So both of our knights are near our king. Now, the difference is that black has a pawn on d5 and I have a pawn on d3, so black is more active. Black is more active, but okay, it comes with its own advantages and disadvantages as always. Now, queen b3 doesn't work. Knight h2 doesn't make too much sense. Bishop e3, I guess, makes sense. But what is the idea? Rook a d1? I want to go d4, but I can't. Because I think takes and bishop f5 is annoying. I mean, I could do that, but I'm gonna choose to bring the rook first. Now, I don't want to put my rook on... Sorry, I don't want to put my bishop on d3. It feels like it's getting on the way of the rook, so I'm gonna go bishop d2 and bishop c1. Okay, they go for b5, I'm gonna take. Rook takes d4. I think now... Now, actually, this works now that I think about it, because takes bishop f5 is always running into a damaged pawn structure. Ah, that's clever. Wow, that's clever, actually. Why did I even... Like, that didn't even cross my mind. Queen e4. We have to speed up. Bishop f5, queen d5. Okay, that... I go all the way back. This I'm gonna go 95, I don't care. I haven't calculated anything, but I have to go for 95. If not, it's just game over. Ahaha. Interesting. Okay. I'm gonna ultimately go for this. Doesn't work, but again, it's no longer about whether it works or not. It's whether it gives me compensation. Yeah, this is not good. Queen d1, I'm trying. Ay. Queen d1. Trying to get play. h4, h5, I guess. Rook d7. h4. Queen d5. Queen d4. Mat. Tak. Hi. 12 seconds. My hands are sweating. My mouse will slip. But we're completely winning now. Okay, sorry, actually, we've at least equalized. What? What is that move? Wow, what a turnaround. That's insane. That was very lucky by me. Thanks for the game, Arabic Wolf. Yeah, if it's not because of... we are winning. So I thought my opponent could... Yeah, it is winning, sorry. It's just completely winning. I guess I got nervous and I thought it was equal somehow. But yeah, it's completely winning. Because this is a threat. This is a super threat. There's no way to stop it. Everything is check. That was extremely lucky, but okay. I mean, we did do our part, which is we stimulated that luck. But okay, let's not get too philosophical about these things. At the end of the day, we did manage our time pretty poorly. Now, whoa, that was weird. Yeah, so this structure is not so dangerous when you're playing with the black pieces. So for example, let's flip this and let's go back to the beginning. So let's say black plays d6, as we do. Say they go for this, we go for this. It's almost as if they played d4 here. We go knight d7, which is what we do, and bishop d3. And then after knight f6, they go for c3. This is an actual line. And in this line, black actually goes g6 now that I think about it. Ah, sorry, d5. d5 is a serious move, actually. Ah, yeah, I remember now. There's a game between, I think, Arjun Erigaisi and Yakoboyev Nodirbek. And Nodirbek was playing with the white pieces. And it was an insane game. And Arjun was extremely well prepared, but I'm not sure if it's this one. How do you see that move in 0.01 seconds? It's magic. It's magic. The 10 years. Whoa. And it wasn't even 0.01 seconds. Nah, it's I'm joking. I mean, for a title player, it shouldn't be that difficult. Something should be screaming at you when you see this. But okay. So next time, I think we should go... Yeah, we should go d4. But okay, it's a little bit unintuitive, especially if your opponent... Especially if we already played d3. But okay, I mean, it's some pros and cons. Like, you can argue that this is... You forced black to play bishop d6 or something, and then d4 is still very serious. And in the Caro-Kann, this would be... Like, if it would transpose to Caro-Kann types of positions, then it's already much worse for black because this knight takes d6. But the Philidor itself... Knight f1 was correct. Ah! Bishop d2 was correct. Yeah, the Philidor itself wasn't that bad. We shouldn't have gone d4 though. I know d4 is correct. We should have taken here according to the engine. And then a takes b5. That makes sense. Yeah, to force. All of a sudden black can't take this because of d4. And black has to sacrifice the exchange. Is it all for you to become GM? Not really. I'm too old for that. I am. But I'm gonna try. Of course I'm gonna try, but yeah. It's not really. And yeah, taking twice is a mistake. I should have taken on e5 right away, of course. And it's just a very similar version to what happened in the game, but much better, of course. But yeah, this is insane. I just didn't realize how bad this was. Okay, well. We somehow survived. Okay. Philidor, again. Inviting the endgame. Oh, every time they think about it, most of the time when they pause there, they go for the endgame and g3. That's insane. I've never seen this before. There's no way this is a good move. There's no way this is a good move. I think if someone asks you, hey, like, it would have been better for white to say skip. Like, this is not only, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm exaggerating. But it does look like a weakening move. Weakening the light squares. Do you really want your bishop here? Like, that's insane. This bishop is usually pretty strong and pretty annoying on c4. So yeah. There's no way this is the... I mean, I know for a fact that it's not the engine move, but okay, let me stop. Let me stop talking. So I'm gonna go bishop c5. Now knight g4 is part of my intentions. But also just putting the bishop in this diagonal. I'm gonna play knight bd7, followed by c6. I can go c6 right away as well, and I play king e7 after castles queenside. Not worried about bishop takes f6 doubling the pawn structure, doubling my pawns. Sorry, damaging the pawn structure. Not worried about that because in the end, at the end of the day, I am getting the bishop here, and the dark square bishop is pretty important. Now, let's ask the question, because it forces bishop d2, and okay, that's... I like the idea of forcing that. If a4, I'm gonna play a6. I want this bishop pawn on b5, restricting this bishop. As I said, I think bishop c4. This is why g3 doesn't make sense. I mean, it's just a move that is meant to confuse the opponent, and it worked because it gained white a couple of seconds. But okay, now I'm kind of eating my own words, swallowing my own words, something like that. Don't remember the idiom. Either way, let's push pawns in the queen side. Classic. Classic pawn push in the queen side. Now my idea is a4, followed by b4. So at some point, I think they have to play that. I'm gonna create weaknesses with a3. Could double down and play b4 here, but I think it's not necessary. I think I'm here gonna play g5. I think that f4 is gaining some strength. And you know, like, it's the only thing that my opponent's threatening. So I might as well do something. I'm gonna take once. Rook g8 is very tempting here. But I'm gonna go for this. Now I'm a little bit scared of my bishop being locked down with f5. But I think very, very long term, if I somehow manage to get the time, I could go this, play f6, bishop d7, bishop e8, bishop f7, but okay. Once again, this is all news. Now, pretty poorly by me, and by my opponents, I guess. I think we've both kind of blundered this. So let's do something about that. Yeah, I mean, I saw knight takes e5, knight takes e2, knight takes e6 is the idea. And I don't know what... okay, yeah, this is not good for me. Okay, all of a sudden now I'm no longer doing extremely well. But okay, it's fine. We have to go king f8. It's unfortunate. Rook takes bishop e3, so king takes d2 has to be played. And now bishop b7. And the idea is rook takes g2, bishop takes e6. So they have to be extremely careful all of a sudden, actually. Knight e5 runs into knight takes e5, bishop takes e7, rook d8. To which king e1 has to be played because king c1, bishop e3. But king e1 smells bad. No. King e1 smells bad. Okay, that did not happen, but I think it was critical. Okay. Rook e8, threatening bishop e3 ideas. Okay. Oof. Okay. Running low. Let's take, I guess. Okay, Okay, let's take and take. I see this as probably better for me, for black. Okay, this. That's annoying. Super annoying. Now I'm worse, for sure. I am worse. That was super poorly played by me. Pretty pathetic. Pretty pathetic. Let's see if we can get some sort of weird mate here. That was a super mouse slip, of course. Classic. Yeah, this is unfortunate. Thanks for the game, Lionor. I think it worked. His strategy in the opening... Unless he truly thought that g3 was correct. Let's see how bad this is. Okay, it's not giving black a slight plus, which is what I thought, but it's definitely like it's giving it equality. The classic type of like the amount of times that this has happened. Like I spent 1,000 years criticizing a move just to like lose on time eventually. So king c7 was better. This is what I struggle with sometimes. King c7 and king e7. Okay, king e7 is not that bad, of course. It's still black slightly better. By the way, bishop g5 is already slightly mistake. Like if white wants to play for equality. Okay, for slightly better. Bishop d2. But okay, yeah. It's all equality already after g3. There are some ways white can ask some questions to black here. Mainly with bishop c4 or knight f3 or bishop g5. But yeah, I can't stress enough that g3 is not the way. And I hope you guys forgive me for not winning the game. But appreciate the way I played the middle game a little bit. Because this is all correct. h6 is fine, b5 is correct. a5 is correct. a4 is correct, a3 is incorrect. I should have played bishop e6, of course. Yeah, I rushed into a3, I realized that. I just realized that I had 1 minute and 35. Once again, linking it back to poor time management. And yeah, I started getting scared. I started panicking. So bishop e6. Bishop e6 or b4? b4, what's the idea? Just bishop a6, right? Bishop a6, rook d8, yeah. But okay, yeah, after this, it's unclear. And then all of a sudden, white is better if knight g3. But okay, they didn't find it. Knight 64 was in the air, but none of us saw it. Now knight 64 is working because knight 62 is very strong, and we played all of this. King f8 is the only move, so we played this pretty proudly. And I missed the only way to win, which was rook takes g2 and then bishop e7. And actually, I didn't even think about it, even after that it happened in the game. So pretty poor. And I'm 2000 on leeches. Which advice can you give me to reach 2100? Don't play many openings, so stick to one repertoire. Analyze it very well. Analyze your games very well after you play them. So playing on the internet is an amazing tool, but as any other amazing tool, you have to use it correctly. And if you don't use it correctly, it can backfire. So stick to rapid games. You can play blitz games, but you have to analyze them as well. And I think rapid games are the most universal to improve. Blitz games are just good for the openings. You can't really punish yourself for not finding something extremely complicated calculation-wise, because it's a blitz game. That's why I think rapid games are the best ones you can play. So if you play one rapid game and analyze it extremely well a day, the difference between, like, if you do that consistently, it's about consistency. If you do that even in the days where you really don't want to do it, you're gonna make quite a bit of progress. I mean, it happened to me before I was an FM. I was preparing for a tournament, and some of the things I did is playing online blitz games because my weakness was the opening. That is still the opening. I have tons of weaknesses still, but it made it less bad. Okay, yeah, bishop 66 was better, because after this there's rook g3, bishop. I guess bishop e3 is a threat. Knight f6 is a threat. But yeah. Once again, the moral of the story is let's keep an eye on the clock. No prob. So let's play the delayed Alapin. d5 is the main line. d4. What's the way? Bishop e2. Takes. e6. Castles. So the idea of e6 is after knight c3 there's bishop b4. So I'm gonna castle first. Black still it's still not the end of the world to allow knight c3 gaining on top on the queen. Queen d8 is played. I don't know, knight c3 makes sense. Okay, this is positional. So yeah, this is why I don't like, this is a good line to play against the delayed Alapin. But it's okay, white still can find some things, as far as I remember. Let's start with bishop g5. Bishop g5 is a very IQP type of move. So we have an isolated queen's pawn. I'm gonna play rook e1. And yeah, I mean, it's a very double-edged position, believe it or not. So here, this is annoying. This is a little bit annoying. But is d5 possible? Not sure. I don't think so. I'm gonna go queen d2 and rook a d1. e5 is a little bit worrying, but I think I have d5. I mean, the idea is queen c1 in the right moment. And if I can... Okay. So that allows takes 94 ideas, maybe? Nah, not really. Okay, queen c1 then. Let's go queen c1. The idea is to be able to use... I mean, getting out of this x-ray. Okay, that's asking for 1,000. Bishop h6 doesn't work below queen h5. That's what my opponent is saying. And I respect that. I respect it. I'm gonna play bishop f4. The intention of this move is actually pretty interesting. If knight h5, then I think I can sacrifice. But we're not gonna get it once again. A lot of moving around. I'm gonna play h3. Once again, I'm realizing I'm falling down. Falling below. Not managing time properly. Let's put the bishop in this diagonal. Super dangerous diagonal, by the way. I'm gonna put my queen on e3 because it was once again in another x-ray. It feels like I've been running away from x-rays for the whole game. So b4 is a little bit annoying. I guess I go I don't know, actually. I do not know. I'm gonna take and play queen e4. If knight takes d5, but if this, I think I can go queen g3. If knight h5, queen d3. Provoke some weaknesses. If f5, then I just draw back with the bishop d2 maybe. Just to gain a tempo. And then just break things with the g4 and hope for the best. Hope for the best. So knight f6 is kind of expected. Bishop e4 I take. Ah, but this is interesting. Okay, we're not gonna get it. I think bishop e4 was interesting. So we have 30 seconds, that's not too much. Okay, so we can take, we can play queen g3. Queen g3 I like instinctively. Okay, bishop a5. It's a super move and I don't think it works, unfortunately. So let's just play bishop c3 and claim that, you know, not having the pawn is not such a big deal. In the end, the bishop on c3 is pretty strong, actually. I'm a little bit worried about takes and knight d5. Takes, knight d5, bishop d4 I would play. Bishop c5. I'm taking on e6 at some point. Not to mention b3. Sometimes the bishop is actually getting stuck. Okay, that one I'm not too worried about. Oh, interesting. I think I can go bishop g6. Okay, bishop f7 this is a blunder. I expect a queen sacrifice. Okay, maybe that was a little bit... Oh, this is winning. The queen. And we have enough time. Thanks for the game. Very slow. I think we were both very slow. I was slower. Let's take a look at this because we didn't get much from the opening. Yeah. D takes c5 is what depth 55 recommends. D takes c5. The bishop e2 can't be wrong. Castles, yeah, everything's fine at c3. We played okay. Bishop e3 is recommended. But I was annoyed at knight g4 ideas at some point. But okay, knight g4 doesn't do anything. I just play bishop f4. So bishop e3, like castles. And I could have played knight e5 here. And yeah, okay. But black is even scoring better than white, as we can see here. It's interesting to listen to your comments. Do you play with viewers? Unfortunately, no. Thank you for the compliment. I used to do it at some point, but then at some point someone starts cheating, and that's pretty discouraging. So bishop g5 is interesting. Okay, we played interesting. Interesting chess. Bishop d2 was slightly better. Okay, bishop f4 is fine. Everything is equal. Yeah, this is where we both started speeding up. All of a sudden, knight e4. Yeah, I was just making moves automatically here because I started running low on time. But knight e4 would have been a super strong tactical shot because I'm threatening this, and obviously knight takes f6, g takes f6, bishop takes h6, which would be game over because the king side is so weak. Yeah, actually the top engine move goes something like this. Oh. Okay, I completely lost it, but hopefully you guys get the idea. I was gonna say this. But bishop d3, and this is now back to equal. But I would argue in a blitz game, maybe it's easier to play with white because white is attacking. However, objectively speaking, it seems like black has done what you should do when you have an IQP, or whenever you're playing against an IQP, which is defending, blocking the d5 square. Happens sometimes. Not long ago, I was beaten by a cheater in Rapid. He won with 98% accuracy 3 or... Yeah. And I actually feel even more for the lower rated players because it happens more there, I believe. Not sure about that actually. I'm speaking out of my lack of knowledge, but I think I seem to that seemed to be the general consensus. I saw this line and I was annoyed. It turns out there's queen b3 here. And this is just completely game over because, of course, queen e6 is a completely different story. Okay, well, I think we're winning. Well, I mean, we were doing well. We were never truly lost. Here we started playing not very accurately. Queen e3, defending the d4 pawn was needed. But okay. Good game. $23.50 rating. Yeah. It's very sad. And something I've read or wow, d3, interesting. So whenever white does this, you should usually just play something like c5 and treat this as a closed Sicilian. So we're meeting a fellow Philidor player. So let's just play natural moves. This is already equalizing from the opening. So we're doing well. The opening was a success, I would argue. And I think I'm going to play this in a Spanish way. So I'm going to expand in the queen side. There's not much we can do. I don't want to go d5, at least not yet. Okay, so they play h4. So there's a lot of waiting. I think my opponent wants some sort of kingside, king's Indian attack. Sorry, there's so many openings with the sound. So they want some sort of king's Indian attack, but I don't think they're getting it. Now where's my what am I doing? Do I want to go h6? I don't think so. Do I want to go knight g4? I think I want to go knight g4. Once again, I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure. I think I'm going to play rook a7. I have no idea. I mean, I'm just scared of this. Okay, h6. And now I go d5. And I think with my rook on a7, this is not hanging. And yeah, this is one of the reasons why I was reluctant. But I think I can just act like everything is fine. Like, let's say rook d7. Looks like a move that, like, no one is happy about this rook on d7. The knight is not happy, the bishop is not happy. But I think it's worth it. Now, in some Spanish positions, c4 is a move. This is awkward. That's awkward. Rook 8 is very annoying. Okay, c4. This. Okay, I'm gonna go c4. It feels right. Takes, and also I saw rook takes d5, which looks good. But also e4. Actually, e4 is winning. I think we're doing well. We have to watch the clock. And it's still a very complicated position, so it's far from over. That's what I'm saying. So e4, okay. Not a7. When's the exchange? Wait a second, this. Okay, I can't afford this. It's too expensive. Oh, wow, look at this. No. I think so, yeah, actually, yeah. Because everything is attacked, and after this, I'm attacking the queen. And of course, not to mention this is still a threat. But maybe rook 8 is super annoying. Takes 93. Nah, 96. I eventually vacate the back rank with king h7 and yeah. I think I could have taken as well. Maybe that would have been simpler. Rook takes d5 as well, but okay. King h7, let's start with that. Operation. Yep. Queen c7 blunders. To rook takes c8 simply. Queen c7 now. Hopefully starting to convert this. Oh, that's very annoying. Oof, that's super annoying. Super cheapo. And it's working. Now we're completely winning. Wow, what a cheapo. That cheapo completely saved my life. Oh, wait a second. What am I celebrating here? Super far from over. Okay. Oh my goodness. What a mouse slip is that? Okay. That's stupid, what I've done just now. Okay. That's stupid as well, what I've just done now. And I blundered like an absolute genius. That is insane. That is insane. Thanks for the game, Shangri-La. Wow. I apologize. That is like the most disgusting. It all started with that mouse slip. It's insane. So I don't know what I wanted. Rook h2, like originally I was predicting king g4, rook f2, and then keeping those ideas of h5 alive. That's the most. Good lord. And of course we're still winning, but okay, it's game over. Like we have 6 seconds left. And they played very well as well. But this is still, like, especially after c7, like what you should do is, as white, is because I have 7 point, like less than 1 second. So you should keep your opponent guessing when you're gonna go c7. So they gave me hope, which actually turned out to be even worse. And I should have gone f6 here, of course. But for some reason I thought I was taking here and making a draw at least. And this is just like the last straw. Like, of course, king h3. This is insane. Funny for viewers, yeah. White play a talented similar structure. Okay, let's take a look at, try to make this instructive. Good lord. What a way. What a way of losing. Insane stuff. Okay, we got a good position. Rook a7 was a completely horrible move. h6. Yeah, h6 makes sense. Okay, but now we're back to fine. Like, according to the engine, they should have played bishop takes f6, which, now that I look at it, makes sense. Because after this, it's all about the d5 square all of a sudden. And who's protecting the d5 square? The knight. So that's why giving up the bishop pair here as white. The knight pair would be stronger than the bishop pair, because it's a closed position. That's the minimalistic way, or reductionist way of explaining this. Here b4 would have been stronger, not allowing white to get this horrible infiltration stuff. c4 was fine. Rook takes d5 was apparently the best. Queen takes b5 was correct. Because white could simply just move the queen. But why? We're up a piece and white is winning. What? We're up a piece, right? Look at this. Wow, that's insane. What a position. I mean, I get it. Black is pretty passive, but you would argue that we can untangle. We can untangle somehow, no? Okay, sure. Okay. We're dropping. I think we could just can't untangle. Insane. We have no moves. Wow. Okay, that was that completely out of our comprehension, both of us. And yeah, we played well actually. It takes f3. This is I was proud of about this. Ah, knight c7. What am I doing? Knight c7. And knight c7. Oh, sorry. Knight c7 here as well. Okay. Horrible game. Horrible game, but okay. Interesting game. We were playing well. It was good. It was good for some moments. The ending was like completely out of everyone's control. Let's play against Panfilo 2023. Classic. So we're playing some sort of Dutch structure, which is about to become some sort of French structure with fianchetto, which is not very common. In fact, the bishop on g2 is completely neutralized, so I'm not too worried about this. So let's play... I think we want our bishop on e7 rather than on d6. That's usually the big question, revolving around the development of that bishop, particularly. I think we're doing extremely well. Very often white goes f3 in this position, but you just go bishop e6, and nothing is happening. Here I'm going to play a5, preventing b4. They're going to insist. I'm going to attack c4, asking a question. They take. Should we take with the knight or with the pawn? Well, the bishop is out of the question, of course. We don't want to give up the light square bishop just like that. Very important piece. This is a very interesting question. I would argue that because this bishop is not a part of the game, I'm going to take with the knight. Of course, knight c4 is losing to takes, takes, and takes. And against this, I was just going to play... I think bishop takes. What looks correct? Okay, I'm going to take with the queen. Just because I saw that if bishop takes, maybe queen c2, knight d7, knight c4. So queen takes d5, queen c2, of course, knight d7, knight c4 doesn't exist anymore. And if your opponent has to play rook a1... Oh, wow, what a move. I thought it was just like a completely nothing. Okay, let's play b5. I think the endgame should be beneficial for us. But there may be d5 here, which I underestimated. Okay, the idea of this is knight f4, but I think this is still, I can allow that. I'm gonna take and play bishop e3 to gain a tempo, move the bishop with a tempo. And now, I think we can play g5, expanding. Potentially going g4 and closing everything off. But also like something like knight c4. Knight d5 is an idea. Sorry. Opening things up with c5. If bishop d2, knight c4 gains the tempo. So for example, bishop c3, b4. I think that's trapping the bishop and winning. So they take... Ignoring it is a decent candidate move. But I think... Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna ignore it. Bishop takes e5, bishop d2. So I need knight c4. Now I guess I'm threatening bishop takes e5. And if knight e6... I have no idea. Rook f8? And if knight d4... I didn't see that. a4. Okay, things are crumbling here. This was completely misplayed by me. But it's okay. It's all okay. Let's play rook a7. I'm just putting all my money in those underdeveloped pieces. Let's attack this guy. Maybe I should have gone to F8. Okay. Yeah, I feel like I'm blundering 1,000 things. But, you know, I'm still pretty active here. At some point, they're just gonna go E4 and laugh in my face. Oh, wow. Look, I thought we were both in time trouble. It's only me. Okay. This is a free piece. Or maybe not. How is this not a free piece? That's insane. Yeah, I'm lost now. If I wasn't winning material there, then it's game over. It's unfortunate. Rook b1. Okay, objectively this endgame should be a draw. But playing this with 4 seconds is insane. Insane. Rook c1 doing nothing. Rook g1 doing something. Taking. Epic comeback coming up. Okay. Knight flag. Classic. Thanks for the game, Panfilo. And I think that's the last game we're gonna get. Another shame. We were doing very well. We were doing extremely well, but I just need to work in the time control. It's yeah, it's the usual, but I'm getting the hang of it. I'm making progress. I promise. It's just taking a while. But okay, like it's -1. Here a4 would have been very strong. What's the idea of a4 other than just solidifying? Okay, I guess that after queen takes b3, a takes b3 is much stronger than bishop takes b3. Because now b4 is a problem. So for example, bishop d2, bishop c4, rook fe1, forced move. Knight b6, and okay, another point of this is knight a4. Which would be targeting the weakness. Okay, well. Yeah, this is still pretty good. But c5 is wrong. Who would have thought this? I mean, my pieces are like, he's underdeveloped. I want to open things up, but it's wrong. Bishop d6 with the idea of g5. Why not g5 right away? Because of 92. Okay, what's the difference? Now that there's knight c4, that doesn't make sense. Okay, g5 and knight c4 directly. What? Ah, there's g4. Oh, okay. With the bishop on d6, g4 doesn't work because of... Okay, the bishop is no longer blocking the e file, sorry. Yeah, very... That's just an engine, like the top engine line. But g5 is also playable. Actually transposes according to the engine. But g4 is playable here, for example. Just to give you an alternative. It doesn't have to be with bishop d6. Black's advantage is a static advantage. Che, cuando yo te conocí aún hablabas español, ya te gentrifiqué. Sí, ya me volví Well, I decided to restart the game. No, hablo en inglés nada más para mantenerlo un poquito más, pues es para hacerlo más comercial, o sea, la mayoría de la gente habla en inglés, entonces obviamente lo voy a dar. Ok, sé que no lo... Bueno, chance, no sé. A British guy. Mr. Chess. ¿Quién eres? ¿Quién eres? No me acuerdo de quién. Pero he visto tu username, creo. X25 Berserk, deep ideas, too deep for humans. Hello, Joseph. My live stream is to play against you. Wow. I think you should change that dream. It should change to something a little bit more ambitious. Playing against me is not what you think. Okay, well, yeah, c5 was wrong. And knight c4 was even more wrong. Bishop takes c5. Allowing bishop d2 was the... had to be played. And then I can stop bishop c3 with knight a4. Yeah. Yep. Okay, well... I thought you were English native. Hey, thanks. No, I've worked my way up to understandable English. Well, everyone, thank you. Thanks for tolerating me. Hopefully you learned something or two. I will be streaming tomorrow. And yeah, I promise I'll be managing my time a little bit better. It's just that I'm a little bit off. I'm a little bit cold. I haven't been playing so much, especially 3+0. If I'm gonna play 3+2, this is what I usually play. But managing your time in no increment chess is a little bit trickier. So yeah, hopefully you guys didn't get too discouraged by the dark theme as opposed to the light theme. And have a good day. See you around.